Good evening, I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC10 Tonight. A pig head found on a family's doorstep is now being investigated as a possible hate crime. We hear from one of the victims. Then new affordable housing and shelter beds are coming to Sacramento County. Who will benefit? Plus, the To The Point team visits San Quentin to take a look at their rehabilitation center. ABC10 Tonight starts now. Listen to this. A family in Natomas is demanding answers tonight. Someone left a severed pig head outside their home. The mother and father came across it Monday morning as they were heading to work.
Sacramento police are now investigating the incident as a potential hate crime. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the details.
Over here.
A Natomas father who does not want to be identified says he and his wife were leaving their home for work early Monday morning when they noticed a strange object at their door.
About 7:01. I came out of the garage. I stepped a bit left to the front porch.
The object was a severed pig head facing the door and covered in what he describes as a red paste. At first, the family thought it could be fake or even a toy.
It started to smell really bad and flies were there.
They called Sacramento police when they realized it was a real pig head, and later reviewed surveillance video which shows a man in a hoodie walking up to their door in the pony court around 10:30 Sunday night. But he doesn't know who the man is.
You know, it was kind of like shocking. You get that sense that, what is this? And then you ask why? Why is this going on?
He's lived in the area for the last 20 years and has no idea why anyone would want to do this to him or his family. And although he's a Pacific Islander from Fiji, he says he could have been targeted because people confuse his race and ethnicity.
I could be mistaken for a Middle Eastern because of my looks. So that could be it. And that's where the pig thing comes in. That's called not kosher for them.
Police say detectives are investigating the incident as a potential hate crime because the behavior is abnormal and to see if there is any bias motivation to it or not. The father also questions the intent and why the head was covered in a red substance and why flowers and a cup were left behind.
And then the other part is what's next? That's the question that we always ask. If somebody can do this in the middle of the night, what would they do next?
In Natomas, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Very disturbing. The family is asking anyone who may recognize the man or have any information about this incident to call police. New affordable housing and shelter beds are coming to Sacramento County. The Board of Supervisors approved the transformation of the Howe Avenue Residence Inn into housing.
Yeah, but it is not without controversy with the city and residents. ABC 10's Devin Truby explains.
Sacramento County Board of Supervisors agreed to spend more than $19 million to transform the Residence Inn on Howe Avenue into affordable housing and create 50 new shelter beds.
It's our Scattered Site Shelter program. It's something we've been doing for years, and it utilizes existing single-family homes that we master lease in the community. So they could be scattered throughout the community and really allows us to serve people where they're at.
The county says they're trying to serve the unhoused currently living along the American River Parkway. They will turn the Residence Inn into 176 housing units, 32 for those moving successfully out of shelters.
To people who make at or below 30% of area median income. That is extremely low income. People living off SSI or with very, very limited incomes. Often people exiting homelessness start with zero income, as a matter of fact. The remainder of the units will be restricted for people making at or below 80% of AMI, which is actually a working class salary. So for a family of two, that might be $60,000 to $80,000 a year. So people who work, at an Art and Fair mall or who are working in a healthcare setting.
The $19.4 million will operate the shelter for 3 full years and ensure the affordability of the housing with services for 10 years. Some argue $19 million could have created more shelter beds. Sacramento Mayor Pro Tem Karina Telemontes asked for a motion from the county for more support for those living on the Parkway.
And I did not receive that today, but they did say that $5.6 million that is unallocated for would be a conversation that would be had next with the city and the county. So my next steps is being hopeful that we get included in the conversations.
Telemontes wants the remaining Parkway funds to be used on outreach. The county hopes the city can see the value of this project.
It's in the unincorporated county and it's using county dollars, and so while we certainly welcome and value input from other community members, the purview really is the county.
Reporting in Sacramento County, Devin Truby, ABC 10.
Now we're told the $19 million will come from the county's American River Parkway Fund. The shelter beds will open in the spring of 2025, and they hope to move people into the Residence Inn in early 2026.
We are continuing to follow Prop 36, a ballot measure that'll increase penalties for theft and certain drug crimes. Today, the ballot measure was discussed at a joint hearing of the Assembly and Senate Public Safety Committees.
ABC 10's Alicia Machado is live in the studio tonight with the latest reaction from folks on both sides.
Yeah, well, Chris and Laura, we see videos like this on social media. Brazen theft at big box stores and malls. Some at today's hearing want to get tougher on punishments, but others are concerned about how the proposition might impact community programs to reduce recidivism.
Come November, voters will decide whether to increase penalties on theft and certain drug-related crimes in California. Prop 36, as it's called, is set to appear on the ballot and would make changes to laws enacted by Prop 47, which passed by voters in 2014. Among them, convert some misdemeanor crimes into felonies and undo some of the punishment reductions set by Prop 47. On Tuesday, at a joint informational hearing of the Assembly and Senate Public Safety Committees, stakeholders and the public stated their stance on Prop 36, including Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper, who expressed his support.
These folks are being robbed blind, and people just walking out with handfuls of stuff. The big stores, they write it off. They charge us higher prices as a consumer. But for those mom and small pops, which the majority of businesses in our state, it's unsustainable, and a lot of them have gone out of business.
The executive director of the Prosecutors Alliance of California speaking out in opposition of Prop 36.
This is going to undo 10 years of progress we've had in this state of being really smart and surgical about how we respond to different kinds of crime. Low-level conduct are much better treated outside of the prison system.
During public comment, a majority of speakers expressing their opposition. Stakeholders like Los Angeles Regional Reentry Partnership saying it would take the state away from community-based solutions that have reduced recidivism. But a mother who lost her 22-year-old son to fentanyl poisoning from a counterfeit pill expressed her support.
I don't want another mother or family to go through what I go through every day.
At Tuesday's discussion of the ballot measure, the Legislative Analyst's Office sharing their analysis on the fiscal and policy impacts.
We estimate that Prop 36 in total would increase local criminal justice costs likely by the tens of millions of dollars annually.
They say it would increase the prison population by around a few thousand people and increase court workload.
And just remember, Prop 36 will appear on the November 5th ballot in California.
It is time again for our Teacher of the Month. We pick a teacher every month that's doing great work for their school and their students, of course.
This month, we are looking at a teacher who is helping kids express themselves through music. ABC10's Mark S. Allen is out in Orangevale at Andrew Carnegie Middle School with more on the September Teacher of the Month. Hey, Mark.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, gorgeous day here in Orangevale. Gorgeous day at Andrew Carnegie. Own it. You are home of the Teacher of the Month. Igor is awesome. Let's meet him.
Hello, my name is Igor Fedorov, and I teach band and music classes at Andrew Carnegie Middle School. I teach grades 6 through 8. I have 2 beginning bands, an intermediate band, advanced band, and I teach a wheel ukulele class. Music is a beautiful language where we can express ourselves, and it's beneficial for these kids to be learning music and engaging so many parts of their brain to learn this new language and to build these connections, and it's a wonderful subject to teach. What makes a great teacher is understanding the needs and the wants of the students and catering to those specific needs and wants.
Makes him special just his unwavering dedication to this program, the amount of time he puts in. He's here before school with classes, he's here after school, he's here on the weekends, and all he can think of is how can I get my students to play better in the band over and over again? How can I get them to love music, and how can I get them to try new things, so hopefully to create the same kind of love that he has for this program.
And as Teacher of the Month, you get this snazzy plaque. Yes. We've got some amazing goodies.
Wow. Thank you.
But on top of that, I am happy to present you with a check for $1,000. Congratulations, Mr. Federal.
Hey, Hey, congratulations, Igor. Very well deserved. I don't know what's more exciting, getting that snazzy ABC10 Teacher of the Month plaque or getting that bag full of goodies. By the way, the bag full of goodies, in case you don't know, if you ever win Teacher of the Month, it's a Monica Coleman bath towel, and it's a Walt Gray back scratcher, and I think a Marcus Allen ashtray. But forget about that. You get $1,000. That's what's great about it. So if you know someone who deserves to be a Teacher of the Month, let us know. It's easy. ABC10.com/Teacher of the Month. It is a crisp, cool, awesome morning in Orangeville. Back to you.
Where'd you pull the ashtray?
I want to know where my bath towel's at.
That was, the ashtray was a good pull. I wasn't expecting that this morning.
Marcus Allen, always.
Yeah, if you win Teacher of the Year, I think you get the Monica Coleman entire set. You get the facial soap, the bath towel, and the hand towels.
Love it. That's incentive for every teacher to do a great lesson plan going forward. All right.
Well, tomorrow marks 23 years since the terrorist attack of 9/11. Today, thousands of American flags are already lined up in West Sacramento. This annual project features more than 2,000 flags on the corner lot of Jefferson Boulevard and Locks Drive. This project started with John Vinson, and in the last 20-plus years, 3 generations of his family have volunteered their time to make this happen. A beautiful and moving tribute. And as you see there, the flags really starting to blow as that wind is starting to pick up as we bring in Monica now.
And as we want to talk about this, because I know a lot of outdoor events may be planned to mark the occasion tomorrow, the very sad occasion. Talk to us about what to expect tomorrow.
Well, certainly breezy, and we felt the cooler weather as well. The other thing that I'm going to be tracking is the higher fire danger, and that's where we'll start tonight. As you can see, a particularly dangerous situation developing around the Davis fire. We have seen some growth around the perimeter of that, mostly on the north and a little bit on the west side there, but the timing of this particularly dangerous situation will be tomorrow from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. The impact, dangerous growth potential, not only for that fire, but any fires that start around that red flag warned area. Prepare to evacuate now and make sure you know where everything is, your important papers, your pets, all of your medication as well. In terms of our winds, right now they're coming in from the Pacific, and that helped to cool our conditions for today. Now it becomes very breezy, especially for the Sierra and the east side of the Sierra for tomorrow afternoon. That's what's going to elevate that fire danger. We'll continue to see pretty much the same wind situation that we saw for today. The winds also pushing that smoke from the Davis fire predominantly off to the east, so it's not really impacting California so much. We're instead going to be continuing to track the cooler than average temperatures, topping our weather impact headlines. We're also going to be tracking that fire danger and also long-range view of rain and snow in the forecast. Right now, we're on the cooler side of where we should be this time of year. 80 for Sacramento in the Big Mountain backyard, 87 for Stockton and Modesto, with Marysville checking in at 89. Tahoe currently at 77. Our sunset at 7:21. Taking a look at our breezy and cooler forecast for tomorrow. We're going to continue to stay in the mid to upper 80s tomorrow afternoon, starting the morning off in the upper 50s. Sunrise at 6:44, that sunset at 7:19. That daylight getting shorter and shorter and kind of giving us a little bit of a fall feel. By the time we get to early next week, we're going to be bringing in a better chance of showers throughout almost the entire state. Chance of some Sierra snow as well. This is going to be a system to watch. It's going to keep us, again, on the cooler side of things. And it just kind of starts to open things up for the potential of more showers heading our way. With all the fires going on throughout the state and that Davis fire, it would be nice to get some wetting rain. Highs tomorrow in the 60s for the Sierra, with 70s and lower 80s throughout the foothills. Our highs along the coast are in the 70s, with inland areas once again in the 80s. Morning lows quite cool in the 50s. Kind of almost sweatshirt weather in the morning, and then kind of peeling off the layers throughout the afternoon. Our mountain forecast, I took out that chance of showers overnight tonight through early tomorrow. It's just going to be too dry out there. For the foothills, highs are going to be in the 70s and 80s. We're in the 70s and 60s along the coast with occasional breezy conditions there. 3-day forecast, we'll keep it in the 80s here, a little bit below average heading into the weekend and next week. Again, tracking that chance for showers by Monday with highs in the 70s.
So not to put you in the hot seat, but are the triple digits done for the rest of the year?
Statistically, it looks very unlikely we would see anything, but after this summer, never say never.
Never say never, but it's certainly starting to get some fall-like weather indeed.
Yes.
Okay, Monica, thank you.
San Quentin, California's oldest prison, has offered programs for decades. The goal of the programs is to rehabilitate inmates back into society after their release in hopes they don't reoffend.
Well, tonight, To The Point host Alex Bell takes us inside the prison to see if the programs are actually working and giving inmates a second chance.
Inmate Freddie, can you come to the shack? I feel like San Quentin is like no other place.
San Quentin.
Let's talk about San Quentin.
Scott Peterson is expected to be sentenced to life.
Authorities are searching for an inmate.
Behind the walls, there's another side.
Well, it's not the old San Quentin.
90% of inmates will one day leave this prison.
This place will give you the opportunity. All you have to do is open that door.
What does rehabilitation look like?
I feel like prison saved my life.
The programs at San Quentin are giving inmates a second chance. But is a second chance enough to keep them from coming back? In Marin County, just 12 miles north of the Golden Gate Bridge, sits San Quentin Rehabilitation Center.
They do a pretty good job of landscaping here. They take it very serious.
Gardening isn't the scene you would expect when walking into California's most notorious and oldest prison, first built in 1852. Lieutenant Barry says most people are surprised when they first come inside. She's worked here over 20 years.
We roughly have about 3,300 incarcerated right now, and so the general population walks around with no handcuffs.
San Quentin Rehabilitation Center, formerly known as San Quentin Prison, was also where condemned inmates sat on death row until the summer of 2024, until they were all transferred to other facilities throughout the state.
So over here we have the Adjustment Center. Several decades ago, the death sentence guys who are coming from the county jail would be placed in the Adjustment Center. Right now we use it as a COVID precautionary area. We also use it as a restrictive housing unit. So anyone who may have battery on staff, attempted murder, or any drugs, weapons, or contraband.
For decades, San Quentin has offered programs to inmates to rehabilitate and integrate them back into society. With 42 programs and 170 groups, San Quentin has more programs than any institution in the state of California.
So a lot of the programs that we have here, like computer coding, they have very little to no recidivism.
Currently, 40% of inmates participate in these programs aimed at personal development, education, and vocational training. The walls, wires, and windows are a sign of the past. Kickball, conversations, and common ground are a sign of the future.
To be able to play kickball and high five, it makes it a lot easier for people on the outsides to say, wow, they're people too.
I feel blessed to be out here. It makes the environment and the community here more at peace.
Oh, no, drop it! Oh!
Fred Catano has been in prison for more than 50 years.
This is something that I had never witnessed before.
Like watching inmates play guards in a kickball game. After over half a century living in different California prisons, he admits it's embarrassing reflecting on his bad choices, a badge he isn't proud to wear.
I was sentenced for murder back in '71. I actually knew the man that I killed. As we do time in here, we come to realize that we did something wrong. It's not like we love what we did. It was just that we didn't have the tools to learn life's valuable lessons out there. I unleashed a lot of that pain on other people. When I started getting into recovery, then I realized the harm that I was doing to people.
Fred has participated in programs and now teaches others.
I try to give back.
In what ways?
My experiences, my knowledge, my tools that I have, my skills that I've learned and picked up in here. They have so many programs, so many doors open. All one has to do is take that opportunity and open that door for themselves.
What about people that say prison is supposed to be punishment? Prison isn't supposed to be working out and kickball and concerts. What do you say to those people?
Well, even though we have those things, we still have a fence there, so it's still prison.
Fred will go before the parole board this November, hoping to be released. He isn't the only one who may be on the other side of the fence.
Statistic-wise, a lot of these guys, 90% of these dudes are coming home. They're getting out.
What do you say to people that they say prison is supposed to be punishment?
Well, I mean, I would never try and change anyone's views. We don't want to disregard the victims or anything like that. But at the same time, I want to believe that redemption is real and that, you know, when people come to prison, people who are really putting in the work to change, you know, people who are participating in self-help groups to find out why they committed the crimes that they committed. If you know that they're getting out, I certainly would want them to have the tools that they need so that they understand that victimization is not okay.
Do you feel ready to go home? You're going to get out in what, possibly 3 months, you said?
Yeah. I could have been out like 35 years ago. And I'm glad that I didn't go because I was not ready for society.
People go.
Do you want to come by?
Sometimes give it free, so dependent.
Here. We met Templeton by the basketball courts.
He's a 10-month-old black lab.
And Lloyd Townsend.
I'm incarcerated for first-degree murder. I've been in prison for 17 years. I fell in love with dog training because I looked at it like it was a way for me to give back. High five. Yes. Good boy. I also feel like I had a lot in common with dogs because not only was I training them, I was also rehabilitating them while I worked on my own rehabilitation.
Without a program like this,
I'll feel lonely and a little less productive because training Templeton, it makes me feel as if I'm doing something productive on a daily basis. I feel like prison saved my life. It's crazy, but I really feel like being removed from society and being able to come here and rehabilitate myself saved me.
For some, the comfort of petting a dog can mean everything.
We get guys on a daily basis that have been in prison 30 to 40 years that break down by just getting a chance to pet a dog. So it's been very humanizing to have these dogs here at San Quentin. Good boy. Good boy.
2 outs? Stop it. I'm Officer Williams. I've been here for 6 years. I've never been to another prison, but I feel like San Quentin is like no other place.
Good kid, good kid. It's the only prison I've worked at a little over 17 and a half years.
When Officer Williams and Officer Fagerzadeh started their careers at San Quentin, they say the atmosphere was different.
Every day there was fights, people stabbing each other. It was a mess.
He says those days are over now. Have the programs been successful in your opinion?
People that come in and talk to the inmates about going into the unions in their fields when they get out, so they already have connections.
The correctional officers we spoke to during our visit told us that change can be challenging, and getting staff to buy into new rehabilitation efforts isn't something that happens overnight.
We'll see them more than we see our family. Some of us do 16-hour shifts, so I feel like, yeah, they might be a little upset and think that it's supposed to be, oh, you know, get on them, but it's still a thin line.
Under Chance Andy's leadership, the warden of San Quentin, there's a simple focus.
We can still have a security mindset, but still treat people like people, which actually reduces the violence inside our institutions and protects our staff. And again, true public safety prevents people getting out and continuing to do crime.
Let's go!
We have a programming population that wants to do the right thing, that's truly trying to rehabilitate. When people have degrees and skill sets to get back out, they have somewhere to get jobs and to be a contributing member of society.
Good job, y'all!
The kickball game isn't about winning or losing.
Learning teamwork, sportsmanship. During these events, we don't have incidents, we don't have anything violent going on, and as you can tell by the environment in the background, it's a pretty good vibe.
Hanuk Rufael sees the way programs challenge people.
If we categorize and box people in, then we'll only grow as big as those boxes. I was sentenced to 28 years for sexual assault. I didn't think I was capable of harming someone in that way. It's shameful.
Throughout his sentence, he's joined various groups, become certified for drug and alcohol counseling, and learned how to play the violin. San Quentin's programs, seen as the keys to freedom, have a lot on the line to reduce recidivism and rehabilitate.
I'm not nervous or scared about reoffending because I have an understanding of myself. I have an amazing support system.
Hanuk will be going in front of the parole board this November with the hope he never comes back.
That we're all capable of change. People commit harms from all walks of life, and I believe everybody has a redemption story.
The latest data report from the California Department of Corrections shows recidivism rates, meaning when someone reoffends, decrease through the years in California. It also found inmates in rehabilitative programs have lower recidivism rates compared to those who didn't.
And keep in mind, the parole board considers several factors to decide if inmates should be released: their mental state, their attitude about the crime, and criminal history. Victims and their families are also allowed to make statements in the process. Thanks so much for watching ABC 10 Tonight. Remember, we are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus app, where you can always get your news and weather anytime, anywhere.
Hi, I'm Alex Bell. Join me weeknights at 6:30 on To The Point. Instead of just reporting on the problems, we cut through the noise and look for solutions. We're not afraid to investigate local stories. We're not afraid to include different perspectives. We're not afraid to hold those in power accountable. This is your community, and it's my community too, and we're here to make it better for everyone. Join me, Alex Bell, on To The Point, weeknights at 6:30, only on ABC 10.